Hey friends, I am exporting today's video, but I want to make this little thing for the beginning of the video that says thank you to Reinventing Renee for sharing about my channel. I got a bunch of new followers and you should follow her if you are into financial budgeting stuff. She does cash stuffing videos, which are so much fun to watch because she's hilarious. And she has really cool like games and stickers and a bunch of like fun, engaging ways of budgeting. So if you're not already, a bunch of you are because that's how you found me. I'll put her little link thing right here. And there'll be maybe a thing over there. I'm not really sure where the things are, but I'll also put it in the, what are those things called? The comments, the description. I'll put a link there. And I'll also put a link, of course, to Layla, who, Debt Over It, whose spreadsheets I use throughout this video and throughout my life. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I said those things because I say them at the end of this video, and it's actually a pretty long video, I think, 20 minutes or so. And I want to make sure you hear about these people before you turn me off. All right, thanks. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a 54-year-old neurodivergent musician with an abundance of debt and nothing safe for retirement. This is Midlife Money Moves. I'm here for another review of my week of spending last week, the 21st through the 27th. What a week it was. One thing I think I didn't do last week, let me move this just a little, was to run down this. This is a super low. Okay, I just recorded this video and I'm redoing it because it was nearly half an hour and that's way too long. So keep me moving. This is all my income for the month. It's much lower than usual because it's summer and I have fewer students. Piano teaching is my main thing. Piano teaching and music, like preschool music classes. So as the month progressed, so my income declined. Classes were ending. Schools were like, we don't have any kids. Let's start back in September. Perfectly expected. Planned for a little bit better than typical, actually a lot better than usual this year. I got this $10 from a COVID study I was participating in. I love being tested on, which is a weird thing about me. And I made $10 in the process. $25 I got paid back money I owed somebody. Rakuten, we'll talk about that later. It's great. You get extra cash back on certain purchases you sign up for. I robbed my own emergency fund, my cash emergency fund, so I could cover some expenses last week. And I got this $20 tip, basically, from a student who was ending their piano lessons. They gave me a nice card and $20, which went right into my cash emergency fund, which I robbed last week. So now there's $20 in there, so it's not zero anymore. So let's see. We'll run down these expenses. I had some tech issues with this mic. I mentioned it. I actually discovered this morning it wasn't the mic. It was the headphones. But I was on an international tech support call for a long time, not even thinking that this is going to cost money, by the way. Nicely, AT&T sent me a text saying, hey, heads up, you're about to have a $100 charge. If you pay this $15 fee for an international call package, you can backdate it to yesterday. Anyway, so I backdated this package for $15 that covered the international call. So I am over budget by $21.92. Not sure why it's $21 and not $15, but that's the interesting thing about paying attention to this stuff. I used to just like, okay, sure. But now I'm like, wait a minute. It was $15. Where'd that $6.92 come from? I'll look at that when I go and make sure I cancel this monthly thing that I don't want anymore. Okay, what else? Let's see. Citibank, I paid $50. This little cute snowman means this is a debt I'm working on in my, it's not really a debt snowball. It's more of an avalanche that we're working on right now, I think. It's kind of a combo. It's combo avalanche snowball. Anyway, $50. It's a little over the minimum. I'll be doing more next month. This Citibank card and Discover card, I may have mentioned last week, both are at 0 interest right now, but that ain't going to last forever. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, this is going much faster than the last video. This payment to Mount Sinai for $53.15. They're happy to put you on a payment plan, I discovered. And before my insurance kicked in at the beginning of the year, I was paying kind of a lot for I see a psychiatrist once a month and a therapist twice a month. And I had to pay full price for those or close to. So I put them into a payment plan because I was, as you know, catching up on a bunch of other stuff. The thing that I was doing that I don't want to do anymore was rolling everything into it and just keeping the payment plan going. I'd like to get out from under this. So I'm making sure I just pay the new charges, like for my copays for the various appointments. Let's see. Groceries. I was already over budget. So that's not good. But the good thing is, instead of like last month, I was like, well, I'm over budget. Might as well just buy whatever I want. Now I'm at least being way more cautious. Like a $53.55 week of groceries is pretty solid. I stocked up on a bunch in the beginning of the month. So that saw me through this. And then this was a little higher. I can't remember what I bought that was more, but still $71 for a week of groceries is really good in my world. So it can be done. There's a lot of stock up that happened here. But if I did that big stock and kept this also at like $70, that'd be really good. I think I could do that. Ooh, interesting. Okay. I'll do the math on that later. I'll be a lot better, whatever it is. And I think this week, this last gross extra week, when you don't get paid bi-weekly, the extra week months are actually really rude. Because I'm like, oh, but I already spent my budget for this month and there's another week. All right. So I had a $25 copay. I think that was for therapy. A lot of times they come in late. Like I had 2 other doctor's appointments this week, but I won't see those copays show up from Mount Sinai for a couple weeks, I think. Nothing trips. Bubba time. So there are 2 things that are happening with all of this. And I want to be super clear. I'm on a credit card float, which is what YNAB people refer to. YNAB is you need a budget, the software. As I'm spending all this budget money, I'm spending on a credit card. Like this month's income went to pay for last month's credit card bills. That is not what I want to do. Because it makes it feel like this is a big lie. Like it feels like a lie. It's good that I'm keeping track of everything, but I didn't spend this money this month. I'm spending this money next month. And then that month's money is going to be paid for the next month. That is not how I want this to work. I want it to be the opposite. I want to be paying for next month. Wait, am I saying this right? I want to be paying for next month's expenses with this month's money. Wouldn't that be cool? Instead, I'd be paying like, I like using credit cards and I really am committed to learning how to use them more effectively. And it's great. Like the thing that I'm doing that I didn't used to do is I refuse to pay any interest. Like I will not pay interest on my active credit cards. But this is going in the wrong direction. No. If I had a little water spray bottle, I'd be sprayed on my face. No. But the double whammy here, well, triple whammy, low income this month, over budget on all these items, and I didn't even have the money to pay this. I didn't have the money to pay the budget. I was putting it on credit cards. It makes you feel like, oh yeah, I'm doing it like I'm not carrying a balance on my credit card. But I want to live a life where I don't make a credit card swipe or payment unless I could also just pay cash in that moment. That's going to be a good day. But a day is not today. But I don't like it. I don't like that feeling. And partly because I think I used to just ignore it. And I'd be like, well, I had that opposite feeling. I'd be like, well, I'm paying the minimum payment on my gigantic credit card balances, which is even worse because I don't have to tell you. So much better, not ideal. Just throwing that out there and telling on myself. So this is more than I had budgeted to spend. So was this. Nope. Naughty. okay, I don't really want to be acting like that to myself, but it is like, okay, this does not match the goals that you said you have. I had a conversation. So Bubba time, that equals time I spend with my boyfriend on the weekends. We don't live in the same place, and we live kind of far from each other. So we spend the weekends together, and I had like a $50 budget set aside for each weekend. But I'm going over it, and $50, honestly, maybe is too much. We did some talking about cooking more together, finding free things to do. Because we both, I should only speak for myself because I have some money goals that are feeling urgent. And I would like to keep that urgency and momentum going in that direction. So anyway, over budget, there's a plan here to drop the budget and as a pair, as a couple, be conscious of our spending and find other fun things to do that help us spend less money. Great. I'm glad we had this little talk. Eating out, this was not on the budget. Still, only $5.26 over budget. What did I do? Oh, yeah. I was $292 over budget with takeout last month. So that's quite an improvement. And that is good. Yep. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at things. All right, so that takeout, where was I? Here, yeah, $23.97. These two things are interesting to me. Snacks and coffee. $2.17, not a big deal. $5.25, not a big deal. Unless, well, all the things I mentioned, I wasn't making very much money this month. I'm on the credit card float, and I have other goals. These were very much impulsive purchases. I'm out and about. I teach in people's homes and I walk to each house. I kind of love it. However, in between those houses, sometimes I'm like, I want to stop and get a pack of gum. I want to get a coffee because I didn't have time to make one at home before I left. That's reasonable, but not on the budget. And I have a plan in place for coffee and a plan in place for gum. I like to chew gum because a kid like 20 years ago during a piano lesson said my breath was kicking. So I always chew gum when I'm teaching ever since. But if I buy a gigantic supply of gum from Amazon and just consider it part of my groceries, I save a lot of money and I don't do impulse purchases. So I'm not shaming myself about that, but I don't want to do that now. The coffee, there's no excuse. This miscellaneous Patreon, $3.36. And this is like a $5 plus tax. This is a $3 plus tax. People whose Patreons I would like to continue to support. Maybe not in my spending plan right now. It is currently, and I'm going to keep it there for the tentative future. Not the end of the world, but maybe this is something that I should plan on being generous with when I'm in a better financial situation. And the other thing I did was put $20 back in my cash emergency fund that I keep in a safe in my closet. I already mentioned that. That was this $20 cash I got. I could have put it in a lot of different places, but going to the bank just seems so weird to me right now. Like everything, I handle so much digitally. It seemed better just take it and put it right in my safe and let it be the seed for continuing this plan of putting $20 cash in my safe every month. So I have money on hand in the event that I need cash. All right, let's talk a little bit about next month because I made a couple of changes and then we're going to go on with our lives. I moved this Apple subscriptions from my business account, which we haven't even looked at. That's a whole nother discussion. But I want to put this on my Apple card because I get 3% cash back on that. And it's not exactly a business expense. Like I think some of this Apple One is exactly a business expense because it's digital storage that I use for work. But that also covers like Apple TV, Apple Fitness, a bunch of other stuff. These Apple Cares, one of them is for my iPad that I definitely always use for teaching, but I'm not 100% clear that these are deductible. So I moved them back over here, and this is for a conversation with my accountant at the end of the year. I really love being clear and precise about my taxes because I am in a lot of tax debt, and I don't want to screw that up even worse. The Citibank is going to go up to $300 at least a month to get that paid down, and then I'll move on to this Discover. I think everything else is pretty much the same next month. I dropped down my Bubba time, boyfriend time budget by $10 a week. We'll see how that goes. I still have the $70 eating out, takeout budget. I think that's okay. I think I could. It just feels like I'm at the point with a lot of this stuff. I mentioned this last week, where if I cut this out, I have to really like think about what my day-to-day life is like. And if I cut this out and make it zero, then I am likely to just be like, oh, forget it, and just go crazy in order to take out every day. Probably not every day, but a lot of days. I think I just have to allow for having some kind of things that I like, that I can do, while also continue to pare things down. What else? I made this $10, this miscellaneous thing, because that'll cover those 2 Patreon charges unless I decide to take them away. And I think that's everything. Let's talk about sinking funds. I'll do it really quick. I have to buy contact lenses this month, and it's really going to be like $200. Somewhere around there. I'm just putting that as a placeholder. Maybe less. In a perfect world, I will have a sinking fund for contacts, a sinking fund for summer. So next summer, it's even easier to get through the month. What else do I need sinking funds for? Emergency cat care. This would be an eye and dental sinking fund in a perfect world. But the problem I have right now, I feel like that's it, but I have other priorities. My taxes for this year are behind, and I have to get caught up by the end of the year so I don't go further in debt. I cannot put any more money. I can't roll any more money into this payment plan. I just can't do it. I got to start really making some headway. So that's my number one priority, is putting as much as possible aside and start paying, getting my current year taxes caught up. If you're new here, I work for myself, and I always have. It's been a very big struggle to put that money aside and pay my taxes as they come. So the result of that is I have $46,000 in tax debt. And that's not going to go away. It's just not going to go away. I have to pay it. So that's where I get in this place with this sinking fund. Here comes this $200 expense. I had the plan last year to start a sinking fund for that. It didn't happen. And it makes sense that it didn't happen. I'm unlearning a lifetime of bad habits, of unaligned habits, if you will. And I improved in a lot of areas, but this wasn't one of them. So I got this $200 coming up. So I feel frustrated about this sinking fund idea because, of course, that's what I should do. Put money aside, earmarked for certain things, and I have the spreadsheets to do it. And I love it. I love doing that stuff, but it's just not in the cards yet. So it feels frustrating. The solution, I was talking to my sister about, the solution for next summer is to start a sinking fund and put money aside so I'm really prepared for the summer. But I have other goals before that. So, and this is why I think I get stuck, or why I've been stuck with finances a lot, because there's a lot, decades of sort of ignoring the problem and just dealing with the problem that's immediately ahead of you. Makes this is what happens. Things pile up, and it takes a long time to get out from under them. And that's just how it is. No matter how good I am with my money, and these little red things show places I could be even better, I mean, that's the thing. Like, these little red spots are a part of the problem, or are they the problem? So anyway, all of that is to say, boy, would I love to have a sinking fund ready to go for some of this stuff. I'm not there yet. And that has to be okay, because that's how it is. That's how it is. So assuming this teaching income is where this is, and it should be. I'll know more as I get the rest of my schedule in place. And this is post-tax. Money comes out of my business account for taxes, because it makes it feel less like my money and just the money that has to go away before I see it. That has to happen first. That like when this visual, I think it was from a You Need a Budget book I was reading, this visual of trying to bail out a boat that has a leak in it. Like, the leak right now is that the taxes, because that's keeping me perpetually behind. If I don't get caught up on that, like, current taxes, like, that's the big leak in the boat that has to be fixed before I can start trying to bail out the water, if that makes sense. So the sinking fund is bailing out the water. And I have to fix the leak first, which is that big tax problem. I think that's it. That's everything. More to come. This is all okay. I think that's the thing I have to keep reminding myself. Like, this is okay, and I'm pointed in the right direction. I don't want to say right and wrong anymore. I'm pointed in an aligned direction, in a direction that is aligned with my goals. And I just have to keep steering that ship further forward, within a little detail, just teensy things. It feels like I have to adjust. Total of $517 over budget so far. There's still almost a full week of this month left. Yeah, everything's okay. And I want to keep trying to find ways to make more money. Okay, anyway, did I just make another half-hour video? Hope not. Thanks for watching this. Oh my God, thank you, Reinventing Renee, for sharing my channel. You guys should check her out too. I should have said this in the beginning of the video. I'll shout out Renee more often. Budgeting video. She does a lot of cash stuffing stuff, which is mesmerizing to watch. And of course, Layla Debt Over It, who is going live this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern to pay off her student loan debt. Why is this my life? I love it. Thanks everyone who's followed. I almost have 160 subscribers now, which is great. And feedback is so good. I really appreciate everyone. And I'll see you with my next video. I'm still trying to find a routine here. I think this is going to be part of my routine, doing these weekly budget check-ins, at least until some of this red goes away. Okay. See you for the next one.